Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of 1911 Syndicate. As you can tell, I'm by myself today, which is awesome. I don't have that ginger asshole here telling me what to do and bossing me around. However, Crispy still bosses me around, so it is what it is. This here today, what we're going to be talking about is the Ronin Senshi belt. It's the primary belt I've ran for, almost all the content until recently. We've done training courses that Jake and I have done, just shooting by myself or with friends in Arizona. It's been my primary go-to belt. I've ran it in vehicle classes, pistol classes, rifle classes, hybrid classes, a bunch of different stuff. So this is the belt that I have the most time on. It's definitely near and dear to my heart because it has never failed me. It still looks brand new. But before we get into that, got a little housekeeping that we got to do, as Jake likes to say. We are a real estate company, believe it or not. We do all this shooting and stuff to drive business towards the real estate side of the house. Jake is an agent here in Utah. I'm down in Arizona, and we have affiliates all over the country. So if you're looking to move, buy, sell, whatever the case is, we do primarily help out military, law enforcement, in the shooting community. But if you're an average Joe, like me and Jake are, and need help with real estate, we'd like to help you. We also, obviously, here on YouTube, but we have Instagram and a Patreon. So if you want to give us your money to keep this kind of boat afloat, Patreon's the place. And we do release some exclusive content, some interviews there. We do some Q&As as we're driving out to the range on there. And then last but not least, we got a newsletter. What that newsletter will tell you is where you can buy some of these products from those companies. They will give you information on new products from companies such as holster companies or magazines, other companies we're affiliated with. So sign up for that newsletter. I promise we won't spam you. We'll just give you information as it's needed, I guess, or warranted with certain companies and products that we've been using. So jumping into this, like I said, it's the belt that I have the most time on. I bought this for like a VCQB class like 4 or 5 years ago, set it up and ran it in that class. 2 or 3 weeks later, ran it in another VCQB class. And then I've just been using it as my primary war belt for better part of 4 or 5 years. This belt itself is pretty simple the way that I have it set up, and I'll get into that, why I did it that way. But it is your standard 2-belt system, which most war belts on the market now do a 2-layer system. So this is the system or part of the belt that you would put through your belt loops. Once that's on, you would then layer this belt over top of it. What that allows is the load-bearing part of the belt sits on your hips a little bit easier, and then you can just slap this on. So like if you're taking a lunch break at the range, you can pull this outer belt off, eat your food, hang out. When you're ready to start training again, throw it on. So that's kind of the reasoning behind these type of systems, is 1, load-bearing, but 2, if you want to pop it off for a little bit, it's just easier to kind of unvelcro the thing and throw it on. We're going to start moving around the side of the belt here. So gloves for me are essential. I know Jake doesn't shoot that much with gloves. Shit gets hot, suppressors get hot, and it's just a lot more comfortable to shoot with gloves. So for me, gloves have to be on a belt. And I do move this pair just because I only flew up here with 1 pair. I do move it from belt to belt, but usually I got a dedicated pair of gloves to each belt. Moving down a little further, mag pouches that I'm using with this are your S-Tac Kiwis. I have been a big fan of these for a long time. Your pistol mags kind of snap in there, good retention. These are the same pouches I've been using on this belt from day one. So like I said, 4 or 5 years beating the hell out of this thing, and they still look brand new. So great quality product from S-Tac. These are, however, only for your specific mag. So this fits double stack mags. If you want a single stack one, they do have that on their website. If you run 308, not 5.56, these are 5.56 pouches, so only 5.56 will fit in those. And another cool thing with their products is these are their low ride ones, and then they have like a high ride pouch that covers more of your magazine. For me, I just like that much exposed. They're not going anywhere. It's easier to get a good grip on it when you're doing a reload. So great product from them. They do come in a bunch of different camo patterns. This is multicam arid. They have standard multicam black, any color you can think of, they got it. As far as for my pistol holster that I'm using on this belt, I am running a True North Concepts modular plate, holster plate adapter, however they say it, for my Safariland QLS system. What this allows is, depending on whatever holster I'm running, whether it's no retention, that'll clip in and we can easily pop it off. Safariland, throw on a Safariland with retention, which is nice. Also, just so everyone knows, everything is clear and unloaded. And I'm not pointing anything at Crispy. Reason why I went with this system is obviously, as you can see, I can attach a thigh strap, which I really like thigh straps. Some guys will give you a hard time over them. For me, it just, as you draw the pistol, it prevents the pistol from kicking out to the side. So it's really, really nice. This will just unsnap here. Great thing with this, the way the thigh strap runs on these plate adapters too, just to let you guys know, is I have it as low as it can go, but if you flip it around, you can kind of tuck it underneath the plate so it's not as low on your thigh, which on another belt is what I did, and I actually prefer that and just need to change this around. These plates are really nice because I can add my Safariland QLS system on there, and like I said, any holster that has that QLS you can run, but it also allows you to move this plate, basically the female portion of it, straight up and down, lower on the plate, higher on the plate, and you can cant it forward or back. I don't know why you'd go back, but you can if you want to. But it allows you to do a lot of different things with one plate, which is awesome. So, big fan of those plates. I think that they made a great product. I'll probably switch almost all my belts to that setup here in the near future. This belt was developed by, like I said, Ronin Tactics. Lamb is the owner of that company. He is a former Green Beret, was in the military for just over 2 decades or just under. Worked with SIF Company, standard Green Beret, doing Green Beret stuff, as well as some other units that he was assigned to. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, this is your standard 2-layer system with the hook and loop. This system though, much like one of the other belts, well, I guess three out of the 4 belts, the hook side or the scratchy side is facing or against your body. The soft side is on your body facing out. I never really knew it was an issue until I knew it was an issue, meaning, you know, I ran another belt in this series that it flips that on its head, but most of your belt systems are gonna be set up that same way. He does use your extra thick, extra wide scuba webbing, so when all this is together, even with the weight of your gear, like that belt does not move. It stays very rigid. I'm holding near the back of it, obviously. If I hold right at the back, obviously it's gonna fold, but if you distribute the weight a little bit like it would be on your hips, the whole belt stays nice and rigid, which again, very nice feature. It's good for load bearing, but there is a point of diminishing returns. If it's too stiff, it feels like you're constricted and constrained. If it's not stiff enough, then, well, what's the point? It's not doing its job. But this does, after, you know, breaking it in, it does kind of ride that line of just enough rigidity, but not too much to where it's uncomfortable. I did purchase this myself, just to be transparent. This will run you $188 to $193. The difference in price for that $5 is if you're a fat guy like me, they need more material, so you're gonna pay $193. If you're skinnier than me, you're gonna pay $188. So just keep that in mind. That's where the price difference is. I thought I'd just add that in there if someone gets on and they're like, well, mine was $193 and Chris said it'd be $188. The difference is the sizes, okay? Obviously more material costs more. Other than that, I think I have covered everything. So what do you want me to say now, Crispy? But Jake's not here, thank goodness, because, well, it's just nicer hanging out with Crispy instead of Jake like being up our ass with stupid shit all day. Wrapping it up, great belt. Again, it was my go-to belt for a very, very long time for a decent amount of years. I beat the absolute hell out of it. It still looks brand new. Been very happy with how much use I've gotten out of this belt. It's still tied for first with another belt that we have in this series, but I think that other belt is probably going to overtake this just because it's quite a bit more comfortable. So on that note though, I still think this is a great option for a lot of people, especially if you're wanting a more rigid belt, not so much of a less rigid belt. This really skirts that line, like I said earlier, of just enough rigidity, but not too much to where you feel constricted. On that note, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, get in the comment section. When we drop these videos, we'll jump in there that same night, me and Jake, and chit chat back and forth with you guys. Appreciate it. And if we give you guys a hard time or roast you, it's all in good fun. You guys roast us too. It's all love, right? So on that note, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
In 10 seconds, answer me this, video game edition. Would you rather invert your shooting controls in real life or deal with a poor movement input?
Poor walking input?
Like, have you ever played GTA 5? You just bump into
Oh,
it.
yeah. And when he jumps? Definitely walking.
Why?
I can't do the inverted thing. Like on like flight simulator games where up is down, down is up, I crash every time, dude. Up has got to be up, down has got to be down. It just makes sense.